First, I want to thank my colleague, Representative Green, for working with the Natural Resource Committee team to advance this legislation. The Committee on Natural Resources remains committed to advancing President Trump's agenda to put America first, and passage of this bill is an important symbol of that effort and a step in the right direction. H.R. 276 will codify President Trump's historic action to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. H.R. 276 seeks to put into law a portion of President Trump's Executive Order 14172, quote, restoring names that honor American greatness, end quote. By enacting this legislation, we ensure consistency in references to laws, maps, regulations, and records of the United States. Throughout our country's history, presidents have changed the names of America's lands and waters. The change we are discussing today signals to the world that America is standing tall and that we are proud of our country. We are proud of our accomplishments, our history, and our future. It is nearly impossible to overstate the Gulf of America's critical role in achieving not only American energy independence, but dominance. President Trump has made it a priority of his administration to reassert America's role as a global leader in energy production, and the Gulf of America is a critical part of that agenda. The American people support these policies, and we must deliver on the promises that we have made. I am proud to support President Trump in this bill, and I urge the committee to report an appropriate rule to allow for its consideration in the House. Thank you, and I yield back.
Give us a sense of the flavor of what folks are concerned about in the state of Wyoming.
They're concerned about energy production, making sure that we get back to energy independence, which is part of the reason why I think it's so important to rename this to Gulf of America in light of the amount of production. It accounts for about 15% of our oil and gas production in the country. So that's one of the big issues that you hear wherever you go, whether you're in town halls or meetings, is the importance of protecting our energy industry. I hear a lot about ensuring that we are implementing the agenda and the policies that Donald Trump ran on. Okay. This being one of them. I think another reason why we should change this to the Gulf of America versus the Gulf of Mexico is for over 40 years, the country of Mexico has been dumping raw sewage into the area near San Diego, California. And the head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin, was just there approximately 2 weeks ago. I was just in San Diego meeting with some folks down there, and they described the situation. It's absolutely a horrific, horrific situation. It is an environmental catastrophe and disaster created, and the country of Mexico absolutely refuses to address it and fix it. And has been fouling our waters for decades upon decades. It needs to be resolved. But that is another reason why we need to retake and claim ownership of this area and make sure people do know that it is the Gulf of America. We should not be rewarding Mexico for their bad acts, and that's just one example.
That sounds like a real issue that if the Democrats would actually join the Republicans and work to resolve, we could work to resolve it. But they're opposed to anything that Donald Trump's for. So if he wants to clean up what Mexico's doing to the Gulf of America now, I mean, they'll oppose us on that. So,
well, they shouldn't. It is absolutely a horrific situation, and it needs to be addressed, and the country of Mexico needs to be held accountable for dumping raw sewage into the ocean on a regular basis.
Help me understand, is this bill just bringing us into line with what the executive branch has already done within and throughout its administration?
That's absolutely correct, and it is just following actions that have been taken by other presidents in the past, very similar.
And could you just, for the committee, describe how this initiative would prioritize American interests and nationalism, as well as promote President Trump's America First agenda?
Well, again, and it goes back to what I was indicating to Mr. Neguse, the Gulf of America is actually very important to the state of Wyoming and our energy producers, and that's why it would be a topic in my state, because they also believe very strongly in America and love America. I just want to give you some quick statistics of why the Gulf of America is so important to our country. The United States has been producing oil offshore in the federal Gulf of America waters since the 1940s. 30s, and production from the Gulf has been steadily increasing over the past 30 years. Production today is at nearly 1.8 million barrels per day, and we hope new projects will soon allow us to get over the 2 million mark, which is where we were prior to the pandemic. The Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, or BOEM, found that the region contains an estimated technically recoverable resources in the range of 23.31 billion barrels of oil to 36.27 billion barrels of oil. A 2021 report commissioned by the National Ocean Industries Association found that the Gulf of America oil and gas industry supports an estimated 412,000 jobs throughout the country. Offshore oil and gas jobs have an average industry wage of $69,650, which is 29% higher than the national average. I can go on and on and on about describing the importance of the Gulf of America. That's just looking at the energy side of it. If you look at the fisheries side of it, as was brought out by Mr. Scott, it's huge. Also, the recreation industry is so important to the United States. So there are many, many reasons why we would want to clarify and correct what's probably been a historical anomaly in terms of the name of this particular body of water. So I think it makes perfect sense to actually name this the Gulf of America and move on so that we can address some of the other things that are important to our constituents as well.